Spirit guides, you've heard about them, maybe you even felt them. But what do they want with you? Who are they? How do you even start a conversation with them? Stay with me, Boo. I'm going to show you and make it super simple. Hi, Boo. It's me, your medium bestie, the Death Fairy, certified Death Doula, and your spirit guide to the other side. Ding! Let's clear up the big myth first. Spirit guides aren't here to control you or tell you what to do. They are here to guide. Spirits guide. They guide you. So you got to be ready to ask the questions, to ask them to come in, to ask for their guidance. They're also just going to be like watching you like, They're not like spirit helicopter parents. Think of them as your personal hype team or cheerleaders. Think of them as your ancestors, your spirit guides, your BFF that's not going to let you waste your time on that toxic ex. They work with your free will and they guide you through love, not fear. Their job is to nudge, not to boss you. And most importantly, it's a relationship built on trust and respect. They know that you're human and they just want you to remember that you are never alone. You aren't. Story time. So I was raised Catholic, as you probably already know, and I have been reading all the books, getting really interested in my spirit guides. And I had books on connect to your spirit guide, connect to your angels. And because angels is something I know of, I've been working with since I was a little kid, that part was easy. And I used to always separate angel from spirit guide. So what I did is I did a little meditation. It was one of those guided YouTube meditations, I think. And I was sitting in my space and just kind of like trying to meditate, connect to my guide. And when I saw their face, I saw a man and he had like wavy dark brown hair. And he was wearing a sarong. And I'm like, why is my guide half naked? Something wrong with me? Anyways, also, I was just happy to see a guide. I was like, whoa, I saw someone, because it never had happened to me before. So yes, I see this man coming out in a sarong in the woods. And I'm like, okay. And I said, well, what's your name? And he said, Uriel. He felt very calm, very collected, really serene. So I got up out of my meditation and then I Googled Uriel. Well, Uriel is an archangel. I know angels, but I never heard of Uriel. And I don't know how it is now, but growing up as a little kid in the 80s and 90s, Catholic, I didn't know the angels' names really, except for Gabriel, the one who told Mary that she was pregnant, and maybe Michael, I don't know. Now all the angels have names. Maybe they've always had names, and I just never knew it. So I never heard of Uriel. And when I Googled Uriel, I saw that he was just as I saw him in my meditation. He had the wavy hair. There are photos of him in a sarong somewhere out there too. So I thought that was so fascinating. I was like, whoa, I saw my guide. Now I say Google, but I did Google a long time ago before it was what it is now. I think I did this meditation back in the early 2000s. So yeah. And then it started to make sense. Oh, angels are spirit guides, duh. And that's when it just clicked. Okay, spirit guides are always around us. They're not one thing, right? I was always thinking, I have to see like a Buddha or something like that. No, it's not like that. And they are really here to guide us and to help us. So let's talk about what the guides are. There are so many, and I probably won't even list all of them, but the big ones. We have just spirit guides. These can be non-bodied entities. In other words, they don't have to look like us humans. They can literally be puffs of smoke, just spirits, like bodiless spirits. They could have a body if they show themselves in a body. And they can be animals, they can be anything. So guides don't necessarily have to be human, is what I want to get to. They don't necessarily have to have been somebody you've ever met before, but they are assigned to you at birth. So these spirit guides are assigned to you at birth, and they're here to help you and guide you, and they've always been with you since you've been alive in this lifetime. And they could have been human at one time, but they don't have to have been human. I hope I don't confuse you. Basically, they're your guides. Then we got angels. Angels have never been human. Angels are really high vibrational entities that are closer to that of like God-like energy. That is what an angel is. Each spirit does have different vibration, but there is no hierarchy. It doesn't mean the high vibration is the best vibration. No, it doesn't matter. What matters is they're here to help you. So we got spirit guides, generic. We got angels, we've got ancestors. Ancestors come from your bloodline, usually, and they can also have come from past life bloodlines, which is fascinating. So if, let's say you are like me, a Latina, I have ancestors who are Japanese from a past life that I had that I connect with in this lifetime. It gets confusing. It does. It really gets confusing. And that's why I try not to gatekeep a ritual item, especially a spiritual one. If the person is using this with respect, with love, and with honor, I feel like it should be okay. So for example, if I did a Japanese traditional thing, even though in this lifetime I am not Japanese of blood, but one, I lived there for 10 years. No, yeah, longer. I lived there for 10 years and my kids are half Japanese, and I really have a strong connection with the past life in Japan, and I honor and respect the culture. There shouldn't be any gatekeeping, I believe. We did the toxic, everyone's saging, just sage, and without respecting the sage, where it comes from, right? So then respectively, people have been really upset about that. Like, don't sage. That's an ancestor. That's a spirit. How dare you sage? So I feel like there could be a tangent, but yeah, it's good to talk about, because you're going to come across a lot of information. This is good. This is bad. This is wrong. This is okay. Ultimately, use your own guidance. As long as you are sending love and working out of love, I feel like it's okay. Continuing on. So we have spirit guides. We have angels. We have ancestors. And we also have animals. I know they can go along with spirit guides, but some are pets. And you can even consider these animals as your spirit loved ones or your dead loved ones in spirit. They kind of go in the same group. They can be guides, although they're not always here to help us. They want to help us, so they come through to say, hey, try this or do that. But they're different than your spirit guide, because spirit loved ones, like loved ones who are inhuman or alive, like your pets, they have that life form. They know what it's like to be human, and they are going to speak out of a human perspective. You know what I mean? For example, if your grandpa never liked your boyfriend, always disliked your boyfriend, when he's dead, he's probably going to continue to not really appreciate your boyfriend as much as you do. They don't always carry those human biases, but they still very much could, because it's part of their personality. So just keep that in mind. I always advise people, if they really want to get clarity from a situation that's bugging them, connect to your spirit guide. They're not going to give you that human bias like your grandpa or your auntie would. Then you got the fairies, the elementals. Little elementals are here to help you as well. They're around us all the time, literally. They're the energies of the home, the flower, the trees, the wind, the water, everything that's of nature. Those are the elementals. And then we have the ascended masters. And this can be like Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, gods, goddesses. All of these would be considered like an ascended master. Again, I don't like to put hierarchy on energy. It's not like, oh, this one's a goddess, so they go above angels and all that. It doesn't matter. Think of it like a sphere, a circle, and each one has its place around you. We don't want to do this, because then we start thinking in a human way and saying, well, this one's like the president, and then this one's like the manager. No, they all have their way of working with you. Trust that. And continue to work with them in a really pure, loving way. Okay, let me know if you're still with me. That's a lot. And there are more guides, but these are like the big ones. We can go into aliens. Aliens, yes, star beings, you can consider those guides too. They're kind of fall into like the humans, the loved ones in spirit that are humans, because they know what it's like to be in their form from their own star beingness. I'm not going to talk about them too much, but just know they exist. And there's more. But these are the main ones. Okay, so how do guides communicate with us? Thanks for asking. If you saw my last video, you'll see I kind of dropped in some spirit syncs, is what I like to call them. They speak to us through symbols, through signs, through numbers, through words, through showing us things. For example, you see a word that you just needed to see at the right time, or you heard that word. Music does that really well. You feel like you need an answer, and then the music just gives you the right lyric that gives you that answer. Or you feel like you need an answer, and then you see it on the license plate of a car that just drives right in front of you. It just works out that way. Let's say you are missing somebody so much, your loved one in spirit, your cat, your dog, your anyone. Then you hear the little cat jingle, knowing that they're there. Or you find a feather on the floor and you know that feathers equate to some kind of spirit sync. You think of heaven, whatever you want to call it, and it reminds you of them. Or you find a penny, or you smell their cologne, or their puppy odor, whatever it is. All of our senses, our sights, our sounds, our smell, even our taste, it can play into spirit synchronizations. And this is how spirit communicates with us. And once you start noticing the spirit signs, once you open that door, the communication will continue and it'll never end. It'll just be really like bam, 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 bam. And it's nice because it reminds you that they are with you. Now, I do want to warn you against telling your spirit loved ones to give you a specific sign, only because, yes, it can happen. It does happen. Tell them we want a yellow flower, and they'll show you a yellow flower. And that's a really cool feeling. But if you are too in over your head, and you're expecting it, and you're like clouding your thoughts, and you're not grounded, and let's say there are yellow flowers around you, but you don't notice it, you're going to feel like they don't exist, and you're going to just downplay all of this. Don't trap yourself into that. That is a really common, just ask them for a sign. Ask them for a specific sign. You'll come across that a lot in the spiritual community. And yeah, it's great. Asking for a spiritual sign is always great, but are we open enough to see the sign yet? That's going to be the problem. And we got to work on grounding. Grounding is going to be our best friend and noticing spirit connection. And the way to do it is keeping yourself present. It's hard because we are always thinking of the future. Oh, I really need this. I need to make this much money. I need to lose this much weight. I need to do this. I need to take the kids here. I need to make this whatever. Or you think of the past. Why did I do that? How could I have done that? And we're not in this moment. We're not here. I'm talking to you. You're listening to me. We're not in this moment together. We are elsewhere. And when we are thinking elsewhere, we miss the sign. Story time. So here's a really cool sign that I got. One day I was in over my head. I was like, feeling overwhelmed with all the momminess and this. I gotta do this. I gotta get that done. Not grounded at all. And then I just took a few deep breaths in my car. I'm like, okay, everything's gonna work out. So I get to the grocery store and then I get a cart. And in that cart was like a little heart. And it said, Jesus loves you. And I was laughing so hard. I'm like, oh, perfect. That's exactly what I needed. I needed to know that I was loved and Jesus loves me. Wow, I got a personal sign from Jesus. That is so cool. And that's how it works. Some people would see that, some Christian left that and blow it off. But you're missing such a beautiful spirit connection there if you do that. So don't be like your parents or your friends who tell you that's all in your head, that's make-believe, that's not real, because they don't know what you're going through at this moment. So don't let their voices echo in your head. That doubt, that self putting you down, that's not going to help you. Be your own biggest cheerleader, especially when it comes to trusting your intuition, trusting your spirit guides and loved ones, and feel supported and loved. The world is lonely enough. Everyone's going through loneliness, not just guys. I don't know why it's always male loneliness epidemic. Dude, we're all going through loneliness epidemic. Even if you have family, it's really lonely out there. But why? Because we are taught to be lonely. We're taught to be independent and do our own thing and not to ask people for favors and whatever. So guess what? We just put ourselves in a little lonely space. And then when our guides are like, I'm with you, I see you, I have your back, we ignore those signs. And we're like, it's just made up. It's not for me. Someone left that. It's not mine. And, they're trying to remind you that they're with you. Trust that. So signs from guides are going to be like little notes. They're going to be like little spirit nudges. They're going to be like uplifting feelings. Like, here you go. Take those. Use those. They're for you. So a really easy way to do this that you can just do anywhere, wherever you are, even in your car, just like I did. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths to ground yourself. And with every deep breath in, Tell yourself, I'm grounding. I am grounded. And then blow out anything you don't need. So in comes the grounding, out goes what you don't need. And after a few cycles of that, see if you can visualize what it means to have a spirit sign. Or you can just visualize your guide if you already know who they are, what they look like, what their name is. I have a really great 7-day Spirit Connection Challenge in my free community. Link is down below. You're welcome to do that to connect to your spirit guides to know who they are. Or if you don't know who they are at all, just say, Spirit, I need you to be with me right now. And I really would love a sign. And continue to ground with your breath. And then start to notice, does a thought form pop into your head? Does a picture pop into your head? Before you open your eyes, does anything pop in when you ask for a sign? If it does, take that. If it doesn't, that's okay. Just come out of the meditation. Continue to ground with your breath, knowing that you can always breathe in and out wherever you are. When focus on it and ground yourself. And then when you're going about your day, notice if anything pops out at you. Maybe you suddenly think of your grandpa and you haven't thought about them in years. Or maybe you smell something that reminds you of your grandmother. Or maybe you find something on the shelf that you just needed to see, like at the grocery store. Maybe you suddenly notice apples and you remember, wow, my grandma really loved apples. You know what I mean? It's things like this. These are all signs. And every sign is going to be unique to you. I can't be like, 1111 means this. No. 1111 is just getting your attention. And then whatever it means, you put that into words with what you're going through at that moment. So if you're feeling like crap and then you see 1111, it's like, oh, I'm not alone. Okay, cool. I feel a little better knowing I'm not alone. You know what I mean? That's how it works. And when you get a sign, always say thank you and acknowledge it. Verbally say, oh, I see that, Spirit. That's cool. Whatever you want to say. But once you acknowledge it, you'll keep seeing them more and more. Guides can't come through unless you ask them to come through. So that's why asking them for a sign, don't make it too specific or else you might miss it and feel like crap. Just ask them for any sign to let you know that they are around. Ask for a sign. Ask for guidance. Ask for their presence. Ask for their love. Ask and you shall be given. And always giving them gratitude. Always saying thank you. It takes a lot of energy for them to come down. And it takes a lot of energy for us to go up. So just giving them gratitude whenever you get those spirit syncs. Thank you for having my back. Thank you for letting me know that you're here with me. I really appreciate that. Here is something that you can do to collect your signs. Write them down. Verbally say them on your phone, if that helps. I saw this kind of sign. Keep note of what sign you get, and you'll start to notice that you get a lot more. And whenever you're doubting yourself, you can go back to these, whether it's a journal, whether it's a notepad, whether it's your phone, and just remind yourself, like, hey, I am getting all these signs. I'm not alone. Spirit connection is easy, and it can be fun, especially if you make it a game. Turn it into a scavenger hunt. Really, look for those feathers. Look for those coins. Look for those keys. Look for anything that you feel is spirit related and apply that to this game. Remember that your spirit team has been cheering you on since you were conceived. Literally, they've been with you this whole time. And if anything, you've been collecting more and more guides. Think of them like your Pokemon. I choose you. Not to downplay them or anything, but if you think of them as helpful, friendly, cute, this will really boost your energy. If you think of them as unobtainable, too godlike, too Jesus-like, then it's going to be harder for you to connect to them because you're like, oh, they're too busy to connect to me. No. Time works differently in the spirit world. They can be there and here at the same time. So you're not wasting their time by calling them in. They want to help you. They're called guides. They're here to guide you. Use them, thank them, be grateful to them, and they're grateful to you. So if this lit something within you, please join me in my free Spirit Connection Made Easy community, where I constantly post ways for you to connect to spirit easily, including my 7-day Spirit Connection Challenge. It's so easy, super chill. Link is down below. I'd love to see you there and party with you. And remember, boo, spirit is calling. Will you answer the call?